It's Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Corey and Mason.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast, the podcast made by film fans for film fans. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Mason Schmidt, here with my best bud, Corey Knudsen.
Hey.
If you're new to our show, or one of our regulars, which if you're watching this, you're probably one of the 4 people that consistently watches us, but regardless, we want to get this out of the way at the start of the show. Please do us a favor, subscribe to our channel, whether it's on the podcast, on YouTube, follow our Instagram, follow our TikTok. We're trying to put more movie-related content out there. I've been slacking horribly on the Instagram just because I haven't seen a movie where I'm like, I need to write a review about this right now. Maybe Mario or the Super Mario Brothers Galaxy or whatever. The titles just get long, even though they're a bunch of simple words. Yeah. Maybe that one will make me want to write a review again. Who knows? We'll see. But anyways, let's talk movies, new releases, film news, physical media roundups from this past week. But first, Corey, how are you? We just came off of Easter. How was your Easter weekend, and what are we drinking today?
Yeah, happy Easter to everybody. We got a few Coors Banquets that somebody brought me when I was at work, and had to sneak out, so that was fun.
That's a good coworker.
Yeah, it was great. You know who you are. You watch sometimes, so thank you for that.
Thanks, Dylan.
And Easter was good. It was a good time. We got some candy here. I actually have something that I wanted to try because I've never had it before.
I don't like the idea of you just reaching down. From my point of view, it's just to your crotch to pull out a fucking bag.
Get ready, boyo.
Are these
These are lemon meringue pie M&Ms.
I've heard about these.
I've never had these before, and I don't know, the Easter Bunny somehow got to my mom's house.
They know? Okay.
Yeah, so I set traps for him here, but I didn't. That's my
one bear trap, middle of the apartment.
Yeah, I just stepped in it accidentally. Yeah. So, anyways, I didn't catch him this year. Maybe next year. But anyways, I want to try these with you because never had these before.
Do you like lemon meringue? Well, give me 5.
Lemon meringue pie?
Do you like? Yeah, I love lemon flavored stuff. So this is actually
I do. I'm curious about these. Oh, those are good.
I can't taste over the beer.
It's got the crunchiness of like a regular peanut M&M.
That or the
pretzel ones.
My favorite M&Ms, which I don't even know if they're still made, the crispy M&M crispy or crunch maybe. I don't fucking know.
No, these are good, man. Bag. I really fucking like these. So, anyways, go get yourself some of these. I don't know. This is an odd looking like bag of these, but it's really big. I don't know. We're gonna leave them here, snack on them. You can hear us chew.
They discontinued the crispy M&Ms? That's fucking ridiculous. At least that's what it's saying here. While I Bing this. Like, this is stupid.
You gotta get off Bing, man.
It's the Microsoft, it just defaults to Bing. It won't let me change to
You
Google
can.
Chrome. No, it
I think you're just fucking stupid.
Maybe, okay. I am, but M&M Crispies, you're gonna discontinue that? You're stupid. It came in a green bag. Did you ever have these?
Yeah, those are good.
Oh my god, my favorite M&M.
Yeah, I prefer like any of the crunchier ones over just like a regular M&M, like pretzel ones, the peanut ones, like I said.
Do you like the peanut butter ones?
The peanut butter ones are great.
I like those more than I like Reese's Pieces.
Ooh.
I've never been the biggest Reese's Pieces fan. I think E.T. is an idiot for making that the candy he is so addicted to.
Blew him up for a bit, but we do have some Reese eggs here.
Reese? Do you say Reese or Reese's?
As a joke. I say Reese as a joke.
Meister?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, that makes sense.
You're definitely not watching, buddy.
You're not watching, but we talk about you way too much.
Yep.
But anyways, let's talk about movies. We had the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Again, having to put movie at the end of these titles is just so stupid to me. But we had that come out this week. That is the sequel to the 2023 Super Mario Brothers movie, which I actually ended up rewatching this past week, and I'm sure you did too in preparation.
I did.
A movie that, when it came out, it got, like, the audience reception to it was pretty positive. The critics were kind of, like, wishy-washy on it, and it prompted me, who is more, like, I align more typically with critics when it comes to movies, just because I see a lot of movies, and I tend to, I feel like, evaluate movies on a different scale that the average person would do. But the critics were typically a little bit more, like I said, wishy-washy, like, I forget what the Rotten Tomato score was at. It was, like, maybe in the 50s or somewhere in there, but I always had the idea, or the feeling I had towards that movie was just like, what were you expecting if you didn't like this movie? Like, what did you want out of this movie? Because I think that this movie, the first Super Mario Brothers movie, was so much fun. I think it gave me everything I wanted. It had a lot of nostalgia, which, like, these movies are going to be basically built on nostalgia. Everyone grew up with Mario, I feel like, to this point. And you don't play Mario games for the best story. You play them for the fun games, puzzles, and, like, just overall world. They're colorful, they're bright. Not like it's their turn your brain off and just have fun, but these are just fun stories and fun characters. So The cast is great. I still love this movie. I can put it on anytime and watch it. It's just such a fun, easy, like low energy. It doesn't ask a lot of me. I can just passively watch a movie that I find really enjoyable. Corey, do you have is there any hot take you have with the Super Mario Brothers movie?
No, I like it too. Same thing. When I saw that a couple years back, I really enjoyed it. And there's just like rewatching it this week. There's still a few scenes that I really enjoyed. The Donkey Kong like kind of arena sequence is pretty fun. The Mario Kart Rainbow Road sequence is a lot of fun, and then even the final battle, and then it goes into Brooklyn and they finish it there. Like it's pretty fun. Like there's a lot of things that I remember from that movie, just being like, it's a cool movie. I like it. It's definitely, of Illumination's movies, one of my favorites, probably behind, like, the first two Despicable Me's, I would say.
Yeah.
And I think they do a good job with something that I like about the second movie, too, is the animation, that it doesn't quite look like Illumination's typical, like, humans and stuff that they do. It looks very Mario. They have that look down, the bright, full colorness that you mentioned. It's just very... fun to look at. There's just so many, especially with this new movie, the worlds and the characters that they add in. So I think that's something that both movies have done pretty well.
I'm gonna shit on you now, just because you said one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
What?
They need to when Super Mario Galaxy movie comes out on 4K or Blu-ray, the bright full colorness. I want that.
Did I say bright full colorness?
You said the bright full colorness, which I say way more dumb things way more frequently than you.
Is brightful even a word?
I don't think so.
That's not.
But colorness isn't either, so doesn't matter. But getting into...
Sorry
to rinse you right off the bat.
Yeah, wow. Fuck you.
Going into Super Mario Galaxy, I was just... Give me a decent enough time. Give me a decent enough follow-up. I don't need an amazing story, but I would like a story. It's the same directorial team coming back into this film. We have Donald Glover now joining the cast as Yoshi, which... Are you expecting a lot of Yoshi or a lot of kind of diversity in his dialogue? You're not going to get it. It's basically Groot of the Mario world where he just says Yoshi a lot. And the character, the actor that's playing it, doesn't really matter that much. But on top of that, we have Brie Larson coming as Rosalina and Betty Safdie as, is it Bowser Jr. or Baby Bowser, whatever the fuck? Bowser Jr., because it's the son. But Mario ventures into space and we get all this galactic stuff and we got to save Rosalina. Peach is trying to find Rosalina. While Bowser Jr. is making this little planet that him and his dad always wanted to have where they were just ruling the galaxy. And this movie is messy as all hell. Like, this is which, again, I don't need the most extravagant Shakespearean-like story for a Mario movie. Just give me a fun time. And at times, this movie can be fun. But it is also so horribly messy, and it feels very rushed. And like characters just magically kind of line up and find each other, and it just feels very thrown together. I still love the voice cast. I think my favorite pick for an actor to play a character within the realm of these two movies is Charlie Day as Luigi. I love Luigi. He's my favorite character. That's who I play as in Mario Kart and Mario Tennis. If you ever play that on Nintendo 64, that was my favorite game growing up on Nintendo 64. So I like that addition, and I like the addition of some of these newer cast members. The one that kind of got spoiled was Star Fox or Fox McCloud being played by Glenn Powell. Kind of a decently sized character throughout this, but overall, it was just the way I countered people's kind of pushback on that first film of like, well, what did you expect? What did you want? With this film, with the sequel, if people had that same issue or had issues with the movie, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. But the first one, I'm still like, well, what did you want? This one, I'm like, I get it. I don't know. It just didn't land for me.
Yeah, I agree. This, it was just so much of, like, the first movie was pretty simple in terms of, like, Bowser trying to get the star, take over the Mushroom Kingdom. Mario comes in to stop him. Like, pretty simple. You have your little adventures along the way. This one was... just the way that one of the big mistakes that I think they made in the first movie was having Luigi separate from Mario for so long, where he's just kind of caged up and like then he comes back at the end for a little bit. And they kind of doubled down on that here, where they separate the main characters pretty early on, where Mario and Luigi are doing their own thing, Peach and Toad are off doing their own thing. Yeah. They both go off for a while, and like Peach and Toad are in a casino doing stuff with the frog guy. And then Mario and Luigi are in like a bee planet for a bit, and then they both meet up at the same place before the climax. So I'm like, why did we even split up? Just condense that.
And we have Bowser doing a won't he be a good guy? Will he be a bad guy? It's like, I don't know. I'm not that invested in this, and it doesn't feel like it's going to have repercussions, really.
And like with Bowser, too, we're getting way too deep for a fucking Mario movie. But whatever, that's why we were here. But like Bowser felt really weird because he finds out that his son is alive and Bowser Jr. is coming to save him and wants to like build Planet Bowser and all this bullshit. And he's like, all right, great, I want to go see my son. Also, he's kind of like, hey, Mario and Luigi, you guys maybe aren't too bad.
Not that bad.
I'm not gonna beat you guys up. I just want to go see my son. It's like, okay, maybe he's turning a new leaf.
Yeah.
And then he gets to Bowser Jr. and he wants to kill Mario and Luigi, obviously. And he's like, well, they're not too bad of guys.
Yeah.
But then like 5 minutes later, he's like, all right, well, I think I'm just a villain now.
Yeah, we'll kill him. That's fine.
Fuck, I don't care. I'm gonna be turned into fucking bones.
Yeah.
The lava. I forget what the like name of that is, but
Well, I know Dry Bones is like a character. I see, like this is coming from people that don't have the biggest wealth of knowledge for Nintendo stuff.
Yeah.
So like, I'm sure there's stuff that happened in this movie that went over my head because like there are points where people would cheer and I'm like, I don't know what they're cheering at. Not that the movie was like bad. It was just like I'm sure that that's a reference to something that I do not know.
Yeah.
But I did like the little. This might be a little bit of a spoiler, but there's a Terminator 2 reference kind of in that moment that I really appreciate. I was like, oh, okay, like a little wink at the fans of film. But I think that this entire movie felt rushed and similar to where it's like we're not expecting like the biggest, most deep story for a Mario Brothers movie. We just want a fun time that can kind of like just find its way, and this movie never did for me. It was just like here, and it just midway through I was like, where are we? What's the end game here? Like, where are we going? Like, eventually Rosalina and Peach are gonna meet up, sure, and then what? Like, what's to be solved here? Like, what's new? So I wanted something a little bit more, which again, it feels like I shouldn't be saying that with a Super Mario Galaxy fucking movie. That's definitely, this one felt way more aimed towards children, I will say, than the first one did. The first one, like, I still, like, as a 25-year-old man, I still really like watching that movie. This one, Super Mario Galaxy, I feel like the jokes were a lot more child-appointed and very, very kid-friendly, and I was just like, okay, like, yeah, all right. Like, I saw a reviewer post, like, this movie fails at giving the parents that have to bring their kids to this movie something to really enjoy.
Yep.
And I get that. I didn't hate this movie though. Like, it wasn't horrible. I still like seeing these characters. It is very bright. I like the almost like Mad Max style opening, at least for Mario and Luigi, where they go to find Yoshi. And I like the addition of Yoshi to that core duo that now becomes a trio. But I also agree where I'm like, I don't need them separated again. Like, I don't need the characters kind of just spread out. Like, just give me a team. Like, I want these characters all together so I can see them interact, which we don't really get a whole lot.
I would have loved if Donald Glover just talked as himself as Yoshi and didn't do a Yoshi voice.
Actually, that'd be really fucking funny. Yoshi.
Or he just did like a typical Yoshi voice at first and he's like, this is how I actually talk.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, which kind of like worked with Mario. When we got that first announcement trailer for the first film and you get like the plumbing ad where it's like, oh, it's just a character we play within the ad, but like we actually sound like people when we talk. I'm like, oh, you could have done something similar with Yoshi and that would have been probably better because otherwise it's just, oh, he's cute. Aw. And then that's it. And
right.
I feel like to get Donald Glover, which apparently he petitioned and really wanted to be this role, like, cool.
Sure.
But, like, do something with it. Like, don't just, I want to be the I Am Groot, which in that you actually can hear a little bit of Vin. In this, it's just like, well, it's so high-pitched, it doesn't really matter who's voicing him.
It's just so we can have another person on the press tours.
Yeah.
We got Brie
Wear a
Larson,
green
Donald
jacket,
Glover out there, all the shit. So, yeah, this movie, I think the animation looks good. I did fact check myself just to maybe redeem brightful and colorness are not words. I was trying to say brightness and colorful.
Yeah.
And I didn't. And that's a common theme that we have not probably caught a lot of times here. But
Oh, no. It's just that I catch it like retroactively when we'll move on to a new topic or when it will shift to you talking and I'll think back as to what I said. I'm like, did I fucking actually just say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I'm editing these things, I'm like, wow, I can't speak.
When I watch these, I'm like, holy shit, fucking stop talking for me.
No, but anyways, the brightfulness and the colors and the vibrant nature of the movie, and just kind of exploring these different galaxy worlds, there's some fun to it of branching out with some of these new characters. But yeah, it's just very messy, bouncing around so much. Feels like we're just on a superstar, just speed running through everything. Don't like get to sit with anything too long. So it's probably like a C+ for me, I would say. It's like a little above average just because it is still like better than some of the other Illumination animated. It was like some of the Despicable Me sequels.
Did you get the trailer for Minions and Monsters?
Minions and Monsters, yeah.
I kind of want to see that. I kind of want to get a little like sloppy and go check that out.
I'd be down for that. Yeah.
It looks fun and maybe like I don't know. I might really love that if I'm in the right state of mind.
100%. You got to be a little greased up for that. There are also two post-credits, or a mid-credit scene and a post-credit scene. They're both pretty good if you want to stay for those. I wanted to ask very quickly, do you have a favorite Mario game?
Mine, I think, just mostly out of nostalgia, is Mario Tennis on the Nintendo 64, which I know there's a newer Mario Tennis game coming out on like the Switch 2, which I have a Switch 2, and I love it. But I've been using the Switch to play a lot of the retro Nintendo games. But yeah, Mario Tennis would probably be my favorite.
I would have to say Super Mario 64 on my old school DS. That was a game that I played, and like that was again just like bouncing around these different worlds. You jump through paintings,
and slide on your ass, and you jump through the paintings. Oh,
the penguin race thing.
The noise when you jump through the painting, it's just oh my god, it's so good.
It was fun, and like there's so many little things like you can get up on top of the castle once you beat so many levels, and like I don't know, that game was really cool. I just have nostalgia playing that on road trips, just in the back as trying to get the street lights to bounce off the screen so I can see a little bit. I'm like, fuck, there it is. But anyways, that's a great game if you haven't played it. The other big release that I saw from this week is The Drama, which comes from Christopher Borgli, and he directed Dream Scenario, which we both thought was pretty interesting concept.
Maybe funny at times.
Pretty funny for myself, at least. It wasn't executed fully. It felt like that concept kind of died out a little bit throughout the movie. But The Drama is starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. They just got engaged, and it is the week of their wedding, and they're planning out everything, going through all the pictures and the DJ and all the stuff. And some revelations come about that very much make it the most awkward and stressful, both wedding week and wedding, that anybody has probably ever had. And a big thing with this movie is kind of what that revelation is. And if you don't know what it is, go into this movie without seeing that. Stay off social media. Don't look up anything. Don't even watch the trailer. I don't think they'd get into it, but just go in blind as can be for this movie.
The trailer teased up the moment for when that revelation, I'm guessing, I didn't see this movie. When that revelation, I'm guessing, is shared with the rest of the crew of characters. So I'm just like, God.
Yeah, it's a really... I'm sad that, like, because I even had it sort of spoiled for me a little bit on social media, where it like teased what it was. I'm like, fuck, now I kind of know what it is. But stay away from it, because it really is an interesting reveal that leads to a movie that I really enjoyed. And I think Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, just two actors that I really love seeing. Robert Pattinson, I think, is still just one of the best actors working today. And they're back and forth on this revelation. I'm going to be very vague about this. Yeah. It's a little tough to talk about without getting into spoilers. Maybe like I'll talk spoilers in like a short on YouTube or TikTok or something, but the back and forth between the two of them as one of the characters finds out, and the idea of learning something about somebody you know really well, and if 98% of that person is just the love of your life is the best, but then you find out that 2% of them thought something bad or did something really bad in their past, do you have to think differently about them? Yeah. Do you have to end your friendship with them? Do you have to end your relationship with them? That's just a fascinating kind of conversation that these characters have, and it goes beyond just that initial revelation. It speaks to other parts of the movie too, some things that happen later on, like, does one bad thing make this person irredeemable? Yeah. And it's just fascinating to think about. And the other thing that this movie does really well is illustrate the difference between what we're thinking in our heads and if we actually execute those thoughts, or if we partially execute them or fully do it. Because we all, like, human beings, we're fucked up and we think really fucked up things in moments that we shouldn't be thinking them. It's just how we work. But it's whether you go through with those things or not, and how you're judged based on if you tell people what you're thinking or if you keep that inside, and if you kind of do that thing, how people judge you after that. So I thought it really dove into all of those themes really well, just anchored by those two performances that I think are really strong. And it was great to just see the process of getting ready for a wedding, of going to the wedding pictures and getting the DJ and going to the food tasting, where the food tasting is kind of the scene where the revelation is, where people are talking about the worst things they've ever done. They go around the table, and then a character says something, and they're like, oh, that's different kind of than what we else...
That's a different tier.
Yeah. They're like, oh, you're joking, right? Like, this is, like, that's not serious. And they're like, oh, you're...
That's a really dark joke.
Okay. Oh, so you... Okay, fuck. Okay, you're actually real about this. So, just kind of having that as an anchor point for the movie of this week time, and then leading up to the wedding, which there's a wedding speech that is just awkward as all hell, where you're just like, oh, God... damn it. And then something else that another character does kind of comes back into the fold too. So, again, being very vague about it because I just would love people to go out and see this movie and not really know much about it. But I think it really hit its themes well. I think that it does a better job than Dream Scenario of having an interesting concept and executing it better throughout the whole movie. Whereas that one I think was really interesting, but then kind of petered out a little bit as it went on. So I can't recommend this movie enough. It's currently my favorite movie of the year. I just kind of everything was working for me. I don't really have many negatives. I think it handled it well. There's a lot of great dark humor in this movie too that just not a lot of other people in the theater were laughing. Sometimes they were, but other times it's just a cut from a really serious conversation to the specific wording that people use during wedding planning, and this like a specific part of it too that's just like uncomfortable but hilarious, and really just I don't know, it worked well. I thought it really balanced that tone where it's not a comedy. Don't go into this expecting a rom-com. Also, if you're just on the base level, like oh Robert Pattinson and Zendaya, like a together movie, like a wedding. Yeah. It's like this is not an Anyone But You. This is not like that. So want you to be aware of that. But I really like this movie. I think it could be maybe divisive whether people are on board for that initial revelation or not, but for me it worked well. Like I said, it's my favorite movie of the year so far.
I think I know what the revelation is. How early does that happen? Does that scene when they have that dinner?
Fairly early. It's in the first third of the movie, so it's not like a third act reveal. And I was a little worried at first that they tipped their hand too early. And I was like, ooh, is this going to, kind of like Dream Scenario, I'm like, is this going to sustain the rest of the movie? But they keep finding scenes and keep finding ways and discussions with these characters to make it really interesting and really funny at times, really unsettling and very tough to watch at times. But I think it just struck that balance really well.
So I know what the revelation is. I had that spoiled for me, which going into it, I kind of was already annoyed by the marketing because I was like, well, what could it be? Like, it's not going to be that, like, Zendaya's character cheated, or it couldn't be, it's going to be something weird and out there or different just based off of the team behind this film. And also, everything else has kind of been done before, I feel like. So this has to be something a little bit more bold. And then hearing what it is, I was like, oh, okay. Which I will say, I kind of lost interest in seeing this movie once I heard what that revelation was. Hearing how much you like the movie that surrounds that revelation and how it works with it, I'm more interested in going to check it out. I might, even depending on the time of the day after we finish recording, I might try and check it out tonight. Because now it's definitely ramped up to a movie that I really, especially during these slow weeks, I really want to see. But rewatching the trailer, knowing what that revelation is, and seeing how Robert Pattinson and her have to kind of like get ready for their wedding or like pose for photos, and it's just like, how do you act in this situation right now? So I'm a lot more interested in it. I think, honestly, you describing points in the movie where people don't laugh but you laugh, that happens to me all the time, and you and I have very similar senses of humor, so I'm like, I might be in store for something really special here. So I didn't check this one out because I thought that the premise would be a little tired or annoying. And I'm like, okay, what really could it be? Oh, it's this? Now, weirdly enough, I don't want to say that makes me more excited to go see this, but I'm more interested in just to see how they handle it. Also, just the director from Dream Scenario, which is a really out there, weird, sometimes funny, sometimes scary movie, which I really appreciate. Does it stick the landing fully? Not really, but I'm definitely sold on this, and I'm happy you saw it. I definitely thought, because I kind of wrote this movie off of like, you know what, I just won't check it out in theaters. And I was like, Corey's going to see it, and he's going to really like it. And then you did, and I'm like, all right, well, now I have to go fucking see it in theaters. So I'm kind of excited to go check this one out still.
Also want to shout out Alana Haim and Mamadou Achi in this movie. They're the supporting performances. They're kind of the other couple that are friends with them. Alana Haim is really good in this movie. I like her a lot. Maybe even more than Licorice Pizza. I don't know. She's kind of the main star of that movie, and she's in One Battle After Another for a split second before she gets fucking domed in the head.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Very, very brief appearance, but they're really good in both of their scenes, kind of as they're talking it out with each other. So it's great. Also, I'll pass along what I happen to see on Instagram as well before, but take a look at one of the main posters of this movie of the couple sitting together, Zendaya with the ring on as she's kind of flexing that in front. Yeah. Look at that poster, and then look at it after the movie, and it's a different experience. So go check out the drama, make up your own mind. I feel like it's a good conversation starter, I think. Even if you don't like the movie, I think it's an interesting one to talk about of whether you liked it or not. So Excited for you to see it and talk about it hopefully next week. The other thing that I watched in theaters this week, actually there were two other things. Briefly I'll mention, I saw Project Hail Mary again with my family over the Easter weekend. They wanted to go see it, and I had no issue going to see it again, even though I'm not as high on it as a lot of other people. There were people in my comments of, I think, the TikTok review I put up that said my critiques of the movie were miserable and unnecessary, and then explained the plot of the movie to me. I'm like, I know what the plot of the movie is. That's my issue isn't the plot. It's... Anyways.
This movie's too jokey and not, like, we're making a joke when shit's gonna end. We need to hurry.
Yeah, but not gonna spend too much time. We've talked about Project Hail Mary a lot. Go check out our last couple videos. But I will just say again, like, all my positives are really positive, and my negatives are still negative. They didn't bother me. Some of them didn't bother me as much on a rewatch. But I just want to shout out the fishing sequence again, because twice in theaters, both times I saw it.
Quiet.
That whole sequence, that's the magic of being in a movie theater where everyone is silent and you can just feel everybody, like, not eating or drinking, where they're just, like, tense. And then especially when the great score and the sound effects, when they cut out for a certain amount of time and it's just silent in a movie theater, that is just so special and magical. And I just loved seeing it again, even just for that moment alone. So it was nice to see it. My family really liked it too.
Yeah,
so it was.
Your mom like it?
Yeah, she enjoyed it. She really likes Ryan Gosling, obviously, and she's like, this
The Fall Guy.
Yeah, all this stuff. The Notebook, and just so many things. But again, good movie, and I'm glad that it's doing well in theaters for sure.
What would you give? Did it change your letter grade that you give it? Or
Still
is it
a B plus for me.
B plus, yeah.
Yep. So right in that range, I like the movie.
Yeah, I'm a B plus or A minus, and like I don't know, I feel like that's still very positive. So for people to be mad at you for your take, it's like, I still like the movie.
I try and clarify. I enjoy this movie. But anyways, the other movie that I caught up on this week was another animated movie from this year, which is Hoppers. Came out maybe like a month ago. I think the same weekend as The Bride, maybe.
Yeah.
And I just hadn't caught up on it. It was just kind of busy, and then went on my trip and everything. But glad that I caught it in theaters. It is Pixar's 30th movie, which is insane. And I mean, I'd be okay if they took like a year break, but they don't really do that. They pump them out at least one, maybe two a year.
Because what do we have? We still have Toy Story
5 this year. Yeah.
Is there anything on the docket for next year? It was like a cat movie that they're doing or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I forget what that was.
Oh yeah, Flow was big. Let's do that again.
Yes, I forget what the name of that one is. But Hoppers, you talked about it a few weeks ago, and it's about this 19-year-old animal lover who's using this technology that puts her consciousness into a robotic beaver. And basically she's trying to save this little kind of pond or swamp area, this reserve, kind of nature reserve, and the city is building this bridge over it, so she's trying to save the nature and the little lake and everything. And I really like how this movie opened. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the Up opening, where it's just very sweet with like this young girl and her grandma. Mm-hmm. And her grandma's like, we just come and sit here and just appreciate nature and just kind of be quiet and take it all in. And it was kind of like, if this was a little Pixar short film like they used to show before things, like just that little chunk would have been really nice too. But throughout the movie, like I said, she finds these scientists that can basically do the Avatar thing, which they make the joke about it, kind of get ahead of that. And then she turns into a beaver and starts meeting all the animals and talking with them. And I enjoy this movie. I think it's good. This one also got a lot of hype when it was coming out. Like, the Pixar is so back. This is one of their best movies in years. And I'm like, it's not quite that high for me. It's pretty good. It's in the mid-tier of Pixar rankings for me. Yeah. It's not, one of their worst by any means. But I think the strongest things here, the voice cast is really good. I enjoyed John Hamm as the mayor of this town a lot. He was really fun. Dave Franco kind of plays an evil version of him later, which is a cool little back and forth. And then Bobby Moynihan's a beaver in the movie, so I like Bobby Moynihan. Isaiah Whitlock Jr. also, he's a small little role. But I liked just kind of comparing this to Super Mario Galaxy, where that doesn't dive into any themes or big character things. It's just kind of purely like, here's just a bunch of shit at the screen. Yeah. Look at it.
You like these guys, right?
Yeah, like these people, you recognize these things. Hoppers is kind of diving into more themes about preserving nature, and it also kind of goes into what people can do when they get too much power. So this mayor is trying to win re-election and build this bridge, but then when the girl in the movie, Mabel, she kind of starts to win over these animals, and she gets more power within this too, how she doesn't always make the right choices too. So I think it just handles those themes better, and just kind of diving into its characters more so than something compared to the Mario movies, at least. So I enjoyed the movie. I think it's good. The animation is really strong here, and it's just overall a nice original movie from Pixar, which they struggled with box office wise with like Elio, and Elemental did okay, but
that movie's really fucking
yeah,
good.
I like Elemental, and Hoppers is like in that same range for me, kind of that same tier. So I'd recommend seeing Hoppers. I know it's probably not going to be in theaters for too much longer, but I think it's a solid Pixar movie. Not one of their best, but still really fun time. Some good jokes in there too. I really liked.
I really like this movie. What would you say is the biggest or the most underrated Pixar film, and what is the most overrated Pixar film?
Ooh, that's a great question. I'm gonna let you go first if you have one.
I think I have one for my. I have two sleeper picks, which are more recent for like underrated. I love Onward. I don't think that movie gets as much recognition as it deserves. It did come out around COVID. I love that movie. There's three that I'd throw in, or no. I think I can boil it down to Onward and Turning Red. I love Turning Red. Okay. And I don't think that movie has that much of a kind of long legacy for at least a lot of people our age. Maybe people or kids that saw Turning Red when it was coming out and have been able to grow up with it. Maybe they appreciate it more. I just really appreciate that movie is about a girl going through puberty and getting her period and just like going to music festivals and just the awkward stages of a little girl's life. I'm like, this is so sweet. And why didn't people see this? Which, again, that also came out right around COVID era. But I really love both those movies. I think those are two of the more underrated, especially recently, but two of the most underrated Pixar films.
I think if I had to pick two, I'm just looking through a list of all the movies I wanted to refresh. The two most underrated ones for me are Monsters University and Finding Dory.
Finding Dory is hilarious.
Those two movies make me laugh so much, and I think that they are kind of slept on as like sequels or prequel, whatever you want to call it. They're really good. They're really funny. I think overrated wise, I don't have a ton. I think I know what your pick would be.
Do you?
For me, and it may be a surprising one, but it's Up. I think that the opening 10 minutes of that movie, everybody talks about how good that is, and I think the rest of the movie's good. Mm-hmm. I think it's fine, but a lot of people have it in their like top 5 Pixars, and I just it's a fun adventure. I like it's funny. I like Kevin. I like the dog. I like just all the weird shit. Russell's funny in the movie.
Once we get to all talking dogs on a blimp, it loses me.
Yeah, Charles Munson and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, it's fine, but it's not quite top tier Pixar for me.
What do you think my most overrated is?
Soul.
100%.
Yeah.
That movie completely did not connect with me. The animation of like real world, like I forget who voiced the main characters. It wasn't
Jamie Foxx.
It was Jamie Foxx. Yeah. That like real world animation looks great. But once you broke into like the afterlife and like all that stuff, I was like, it just looks like a knockoff Inside Out adjacent world. Like it didn't look like anything special or like significant to its own story. The movie just didn't connect with me. I'm like, people were like, it's so sad. I'm like, no, it's not. You're fine. It's not as I think that movie could have sent a harder, been more hard edged and a little bit sadder, and could have had a bigger impact if it was willing to just be like, you know what, we're gonna make a really depressing movie, and kids, you're gonna have to buckle up because this one's more for the adults. I think that movie is like, it's not an absolute miss. I still like, it's fine. Like I enjoy it enough. But that movie, the way people received that is kind of how, like, with Hoppers. It's one of the Pixar's best. I'm like, no, Hoppers isn't. Soul isn't. Like, I don't know. I think that both Hoppers and Soul have been blown out a little bit, but Hoppers I like more. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I like Soul. I think it's interesting because I think it really is aimed more at adults than kids. I think it is kind of like the one where kids are like, I don't want to rewatch Soul all that much. I really like it. A lot of people talk about it with the last line in the movie where they're like, hey, you get a second chance at life. What are you going to do? It's like, I'm not sure, but I know I'm going to live every minute of it.
Yeah.
That just really stuck with me. There's a lot of good moments in there. Again, not like a top tier one for me, but I think it's still a solid movie.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm happy you watched Hoppers, and then we'll have Toy Story 5. I looked it up. It's Gato is the cat movie, which comes out in 2027. So we'll have that next year, and I'm guessing we'll probably have another one later on next year, unless they just stick to one. Who knows?
We'll see.
A movie that, while I was kind of traveling for Easter, there's a lot of movies I wanted to watch this week. I didn't watch a whole lot. It was the Mario movies, and then this film, which was not one that was high up on my list. It was just accessible. I watched Mercy this past weekend because I went up north for Easter with my wife and to go see my in-laws. And multiple, granted, older people told me that Mercy is just an awesome movie. Like, Mercy's the best movie. It's so good. And not to say that it's not I'm gonna say it's not good, but it's not horrible. This is the film with Chris Pratt, Rebecca Ferguson, and Chris Sullivan, who I love. Chris Sullivan. He's not in enough in terms of film, but I love it when he pops up. But this is the movie that's set in somewhat near future, where a detective played by Chris Pratt is accused of murdering his wife, and now he has to prove to this AI judge, this advanced intelligence, that he has enough kind of reasonable doubt, or he can instill enough doubt within the system that they will not execute him at the end of this 90-minute trial. He starts at 98% guilty, and he needs to work it down to 92%, and then he won't get killed. Not that he's necessarily innocent, but he won't get killed, which is a crazy premise. It's kind of gimmicky, and it's filmed in the way that those films like Searching and I think Missing, which was somewhat of a follow-up, the way that those films are formatted through the screen life and seeing everything explored through whether it's surveillance footage or social media or kind of any, like a Ring doorbell, basically, like anything that you can get your hands on in terms of visual information. That's the way this film is told. And it's all Chris Pratt kind of in this room talking to this AI and arguing his case. It's like, why would I fucking kill my wife? And they're like, well, you fell off the wagon and you guys got enough fight. He's like, okay, well, that's too easy. Like, come on. Which, the movie itself, it's 100 minutes long. Trial's 90 minutes. Like, it's timed out pretty well. It is pretty closely in real time. You can feel it kind of shave off a couple of minutes to where they will have a little bit more oomph at the very end to where they can really unpack the climax of the film. But it's mostly done in real time, which I appreciated, but it does kind of just like boil down to, all right, this established detective in LA going up against a AI judge that he was also a big supporter of when this kind of was being trialed out and before the system was really put into place. Chris Pratt's character is the 19th case in this system, so it's not like the bog standard, like this isn't the way all court systems have been handling things, but this is a new up-and-coming technology, and he supported it, but now it's just him being a detective arguing his case, and it's a lot of, hey, this is the way I'm thinking, and then the AI is like, well, why would you think like that? That doesn't make sense, and he's like, well, I'm a human. And it's just that kind of rinse and repeat a lot, and it's very simple. Like, it's just, they have a good premise, I feel like, and they don't do enough with it. It just boils down to, like, I'm a human. We don't make sense all the time. We think with our guts sometimes. We lead with our hearts sometimes. Like, not everything is 100% logical, and it's just like, okay, cool. What I just said, you don't need to watch the movie because that's it. Like, that's the message you get from this movie. And it kind of, that format of that screen life and through that, it does get a little bit tired, and you can feel it kind of really stretching the seams of it to try and, all right, how can we incorporate it still? How do we have video footage of this? I don't know, but we'll it's the future. We can kind of get that. And it's just like, okay, like, I don't know. It kind of lost me a little bit. I think the performances are mostly fine. I will say Rebecca Ferguson, who I absolutely love, her performance, and it's maybe because she has to portray an AI, it's so, at times, cringy. She has to play like a very arrogant, like, blunt character, because she's just, matter of fact, this is the state. Like, this is what's happening. This is the information. This is the way it's presented. But at times, it's very arrogant and just, like, almost, like, mustache twirly. Like, oh, now you're a villain? Like, this Mercy program that she is? I'm like, okay, like, sure, why not? But I don't know. The movie as a whole, I was expecting worse from the director of the 2016 Ben-Hur film. I was expecting much, much worse. And it wasn't that bad. I just think that one, if they're not going to present as much thought-provoking story, they need to condense down that runtime. This movie being 100 minutes, it felt too long for what they were doing to where everything felt repetitive, and the longer and more amount of time we spent with Chris Pratt in this chair trying to argue his case, the less interested I got, and I was just like, I'm falling out of it. I will say there's some reveals and turns that happen, and I was just like, bullshit. Okay, like somehow the AI can access everything, but when it's the character that's really at fault, they fundamentally missed one thing of information. I'm like, wow, okay, bullshit. So I don't think it really 100% stays in line with the rules of the universe that they establish. So it kind of loses points there for me too. But I think it's all right. Like, this feels the most like if I was still in high school and I had my license and I wanted to go to Walmart at 2 a.m. to find a movie that I've never seen before, and I look in the bargain bin and I find a Blu-ray of Mercy. Like, that makes sense. That's this type of film. It's not a bad watch. It's just like, it's a shrug. Like, I think when it came out, it kind of got dogged down a little bit. It's not horrible, but it's just like, it's a good enough for a one-time watch. Some people might love it. My in-laws' friends, they fucking swear by this movie. And cool. For me, it's fine. I don't know. I wasn't expecting this to be the way I capped off my week of movie watching, because I didn't really have a lot of big wins this week. It was just rewatching the Super Mario Brothers movie. But yeah, it's not horrible. It's fine.
The premise sounds interesting. Sounds like they didn't fully kind of execute it well, from what you said. Sounds like you should just watch The Fugitive instead. Sounds like a much better movie about a man accused of killing his wife. That movie is fucking awesome.
I don't care! The reason why Tommy Lee Jones won an Oscar. I don't care!
Find that man! Find that man! Perfect Harrison Ford points and screams in that movie. I love it. That's one of it'd be in my top 100 if I had to make a top 100.
Yeah.
But
you should. You should dedicate half a year to do it.
I've tried many times on a plane, multiple times, where I'm like, I have some time here.
Yeah.
And I've tried to do it. It's just so hard for me to compare so many different things. I have like a general list of things. But anyways, Fugitive is great. Go watch that.
Fugitive is great.
Another really great thriller that Mason talked about last week and then very graciously loaned me on Blu-ray is Red Eye from Wes Craven, which came out in 2005. Same year that Cillian Murphy was in Batman Begins.
Didn't even clock that. That's
feels
crazy.
Like, kind of the birth of a lot of his bigger things that he was in. I've been on a Cillian Murphy kick after, Peaky Blinders, through the whole series and the movie. Rachel McAdams, obviously, was in Send Help this year, also another movie partially set on a plane. And then I also just went on a trip, too, where I was traveling through an airport and going on a plane. So this movie was kind of the perfect time to watch it.
This would be a great plane watch.
It would be.
Not that, like, anything really bad happens on the plane, thankfully, but, like, this
anybody,
would be a good watch.
like, that would happen to peek over and see what's happening on the plane, they're like, oh, really? Like, interesting that you chose this one.
You chose Castaway on this plane?
Okay, that's all right. Weird. You watch Iron Man 3 on this plane? Like, okay. But yeah, so Red Eye, Rachel McAdams, she's on a flight to Miami, and she is sitting next to Cillian Murphy's character, and it turns out that he's a terrorist that is using her to try and assassinate the DHS deputy secretary, and her dad, played by Brian Cox, is kind of a part of this too. He's on, he's in Miami, he's in his house, and he kind of has people watching him. So, really great thriller. I really like this movie a lot. I've wanted to watch it for such a long time, and I'm happy that you got it and let me watch it. I just love these type of thrillers that are set in one location, just close quarters. And there's something just so cinematic about airports and airplanes. I don't know why, but anytime that like I'm walking through one, like I was a couple weeks ago, and just like seeing it in movies, it's just like, I don't know, it just reminds me of like movies taking place here.
Like Carry On. Like Carry On's not the best movie, but that Netflix movie I really enjoyed. Snakes on a Plane. Like movies that take place on a plane. There's just something special about Die Hard 2 has a lot of plane stuff.
Even a movie that gets shit on a lot, but The Terminal from Steven Spielberg. I actually kind of like that movie. Yeah, just hanging out in an airport there's something like special about that where it's like, I would kind of want to do that for a little bit. But I think Red Eye is really great, and I love just the problem solving from Rachel McAdams as they still have the phones like on the backs of the seats that you have to like pay your credit card and do it, which is just like of the era too, so fun to see that. And then just like, trying to talk to other people on the plane and going to the bathroom and trying to figure out how to do stuff. I like seeing that process. And she's really great in the movie. Cillian Murphy is also really great too. The movie starts out like a rom-com almost, where they're just at the airport, they kind of bump into each other, they're at the bar having a drink, just talking, and Cillian Murphy, like you mentioned last week, is smiling a lot, and just kind of doing his charm.
It's just like, whoa, I've never seen you smile
before. And it's like, they're both just really fun. It's like, man, in a different universe, if this were a rom-com, like, you guys have great chemistry here. And I think that's what leads to a lot of the great tension, because she is really thrown off when he starts to get serious, and he's like, all right, I'm going to need you to call your dad right now. And then I'm going to need you to call the DHS and call the hotel. And she's like,
I have a hired gun outside your dad's house.
She's like, oh, what's that? She's like, what's going on here? And he's like, no, I'm serious. She's like, is this flirting or what? Is this like a bit that you're doing? He's like, actually, I'm gonna stab you if you don't fucking do this. So, kind of a great kind of shift after that first act of the movie. And Wes Craven directing it is so, I think, brilliant too, because he's obviously known for his horror movies, Nightmare on Elm Street and the Scream movies and stuff, but especially the last act of this movie where they get off the plane and they're in the house, it's basically just a slasher movie where she's running around the house and he's just like behind doors and like with a knife. He has a pen stabbed through his throat. It's just like a lot of really good horror stuff that is leaning more towards the thriller genre. What I will say about that last act is that it does the thing that a lot of thrillers do that are kind of set in one location, where once it leaves that location for the last part, it's not as good as the initial part. We get into like rocket launchers and all this stuff, and I'm like, all right, it's that's where we're going. That's how we're gonna kill. Okay, that's how we're gonna do it. It's still good. Like it's better. It kind of the issue that I had with Trap, M. Night Shyamalan's movie from a couple years ago, where it's like set at the concert for so long with Josh Hartnett there, and then they leave, and it's not quite as good. It just kind of loses that edge a little bit. But I think this movie is obviously a lot better than Trap. But a really good movie. Thank you again for letting me watch it. Yeah. I really loved it. It's just a movie made for me. I love these types of movies, and just kind of, again, a perfect combination of everything, just Cillian Murphy, Rachel McAdams, traveling recently. It all fit really nice together for a watch this week.
Yeah, an 80-minute like chamber piece movie with limited amount of characters. That is my type of movie. Locke is still one of my favorite films ever. It's in my top. I think it's my number 11 in my top 100. I love that movie. And this kind of satisfies that same itch. It's a really good underrated thriller. So if you haven't seen Red Eye, definitely check it out. It's a good fun watch. We did have, in terms of other releases from this past week, we had Daredevil Born Again. Season 2 is still underway. This was the week where we got 2 episodes. So we got episode 2 and 3. I couldn't tell you if money was on the line, if my mom's life was on the line, what happened in episode 2. Honestly, trying to think back now. Episode 3 had a cool fight scene. Some people are saying it's just in line with Netflix now and it's as good as the Netflix series. I don't 100% agree with that. But I couldn't tell you what really happened aside from BB revealing herself as being the one that's imposing as Fisk on those kind of newsreel, like almost terrorist footage. Like it reminds me of Heath Ledger from The Dark Knight kind of stuff. But yeah, we had those 2 episodes. I still like the show, and it does feel more cohesive throughout these first 3 episodes than that first season of Born Again does. And that's it. I like it. I don't know. I'm not wowed by it yet. That big fight with the swordsman at the end of at the end of episode 3 was cool, but it still isn't the best Daredevil fight scene. Not that it needs to, but people being like, "This is a return to form." I'm like, this is a step in the right direction, but we're not there yet to me.
Yeah. I was also kind of struggling to remember episode 2, some of the plot points there. But there was some stuff in there where like Karen and Matt were going to leave New York, but then Fisk put out like a missing person report for Daredevil.
Matt Murdock being a hero.
Murdock, yeah,
and saving him.
So I like that kind of playing the cat and mouse games of like Daredevil and Kingpin, and how they, without revealing themselves to each other, are kind of doing that with the city. So he's like, all right, well, everyone's going to be looking for you, so you have to stay. I think that was also the episode where they had the fight scene in Karen and Matt's like apartment above the bar, and then they kidnap one of the anti-vigilante task force members and have him at the end of the episode. So I thought that fight scene was pretty good. There is another good aspect ratio shift in there. Yeah. I really do enjoy that. We didn't mention last week, but the new suit I really like. The black suit with the red double Ds. It looks great.
Oh yeah, he looks, I mean, like, this is the closest we can get to him looking like Batman, basically. But he looks baller as fuck. Like, this is so sweet. I kind of wish that they would have stuck more with was it only in She-Hulk when he was yellow?
Yeah.
Is that it? I like that they attempted that on screen. I wish they would have kept that for a little bit, but I
think it works to do it in She-Hulk.
She-Hulk, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I love this new suit, and I love the amount of videos I've seen on like Instagram of people posting stuff of like me after kicking 3 guys' ass, just breathing the way Charlie Cox does after a fight scene. I'm like, it's still fun to be one of the many watching Daredevil. Like, I love this show.
I do really like. I think it was in episode 2 as well. Karen and Matt are talking in their apartment, and Vanessa and Fisk are also talking in theirs. They're cutting between that. I think that's good stuff of both of their relationships as they're trying to keep the one up and like, what do we need to do? I really like Karen actually in this show. I've always liked her, but I like her kind of getting more confident, I guess, where she's like, sometimes we need to kill people. And Matt's like, I don't want to do that. And she's like, if you're in danger, if like a kid's in danger, somebody's like, I'm gonna shoot them because like we need to save these people.
I feel like that might be a sign of me becoming like a jaded grown adult, because like as a kid, when Batman's like, no, I don't kill people, like I save people, I'm like, wow, that's so honorable. That's why you're a hero. That's so cool. But then you get to like Daredevil, and I'm 25, and I watch this, and Karen shoots someone, and I'm like, yeah, fucking just kill him. Gee, just do it. And then Daredevil's like, no, I'm still pulling punches. Like, I can't kill people. And it's like, I just want to shake you. Just do it, please. Which, like, I couldn't be a hero. I'm just not nice enough.
If you and I were heroes, we'd make all the wrong choices. It'd be
like Kick-Ass. It'd be
100%.
Except worse.
We would try not to kill people, and we would absolutely kill so many.
Heads don't bend that
So many
way.
people would go off buildings that we didn't intend. But yeah, the jailbreak sequence at the end is great. I love Tony Dalton. I've mentioned before he's great in Better Call Saul. We get the daughter of the White Tiger from the first season. She comes in as kind of a player here. But the last thing I wanted to mention about, at least, I forget if it was the second or third episode, but Michael Gandolfini, who is the son of James Gandolfini, Tony Soprano, he has a scene where he makes dinner for BB. And he's like trying to get information about these leaked videos of Fisk that people are making fun of him. Mm-hmm. And just the way he looks of like setting down pasta with an open shirt and chest hair, rolled up sleeves, the little chain. He just looks so much like his dad, and talking to him, he's like, hey, you want to tell me some information here? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, this is really cool. As a lover of The Sopranos, I'm like, that's awesome to see.
I'm pretty sure that was episode 2, because then in episode 3 we get the scene between is it Beck or Buck?
Buck, yeah.
With him and Buck, where he's just convincing him to eat a hot dog.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know why this might be my favorite scene in this episode.
With like a Jets thing behind him.
Like, his little shitty ass office, and he's just like, Buck, come on.
Eat a thing.
Yeah.
So, overall it's good. 3 episodes in, they just don't. They haven't captured the writing of the initial run of this show on Netflix. I've just seen some sequences, and I kind of miss just scenes of Daredevil in church, or of Matt Murdock in church. Just scenes of him as a lawyer or as a human being, just like asking for forgiveness or talking with a pastor or whatever it is. It feels like the show is not taking time to just sit. It's always like, all right, this thing, bullseye, this thing. It's like, I like what's happening, but it's just still, it's an unfair comparison, but it's still, we're going to compare it to it.
I miss when Matt and Foggy had to go, like, be the lawyer for the little guy.
Yeah.
Like, I miss moments like that, and I think we lose that probably mostly for Fisk being mayor. Like, how is Matt going to operate in a world where Fisk is mayor? So, I agree with you. I still miss that. I miss that dynamic, and I feel like they took way more time to just let things kind of rest. I don't need more of what White Tiger, and I don't need more of that story. Like, I feel like we need to try and trim down and zero in on what we really want to tell in terms of story. I forget the actress that plays the therapist that was the love interest in season 1.
Heather.
Yeah. But I thought her being a part of this season was going to kind of grate at me. I've liked how they've slowly kind of brought her into the inner circle for the Fisks, and like having her and Beck sit by each other at like that dinner, and Beck's just being like, "Look at us, like we're in the round table basically, or like the king's court and stuff like that." And I'm just like, I like the dynamic a lot of the characters still have, but I don't know. I'm still waiting for it to reach that Netflix, which is probably an unfair thing. Like, right now it is good, and it is better than season 1 of Born Again, so I'm like, all right, I do have, and I don't know if you saw it, we got that little tease of like Punisher last kill. That little tease, which is just him in a vest, and it came out I think maybe today, but I think Fisk dies in that. That is my theory. I feel like Fisk survives this season, and then Punisher kills him. Because I'm like, where else is Punisher right now? Like, I feel like he's just going to hunt down Fisk and kill him. I'm like, that's an hour-long special right there. And then that makes sense as to why there's a new mayor in Spider-Man No Way Home.
I was going to say.
Not No Way Home, but Brand New Day.
Yeah, we see the new mayor, so I'd be okay with that. I think the Daredevil and Kingpin, we've had mainly 4.5-ish seasons of that, so even if he doesn't die, if he's in prison or something, I'd be cool with kind of moving on from that kind of relationship there. Another show that I finished up this week was It Welcome to Derry. This was kind of the last of... I've just had a gauntlet of shows I've watched through the first few months of this year. Just kind of for myself to track them. It was like Pluribus, then Stranger Things Season 5, Fallout Season 2, Percy Jackson Season 2, Wonder Man, what else do I have? Taboo, Ted, It Welcome to Derry now.
You've been finishing like shows a week.
Yeah, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms I watched through.
That one I'm interested in.
And then all 6 seasons of Peaky Blinders. So like it's been a gauntlet of shit, but it's been really fun. This was kind of the last one to catch up on. And this is a prequel series to the 2 It movies that we got from Andy Muschietti. He is also involved in the show along with his sister Barbara. And he directs I think it's the first 2 and the last 2 episodes. But I really enjoyed this show. I didn't have much excitement when they announced the show. I'm like, it's okay, like a prequel to It. But I think with the story of It, I haven't read the book, but I know a lot about it just over the years. My brother was a big Stephen King fan, so I kind of know some of the...
Which brother?
My middle brother, Michael. He was,
really?
Yeah, really big Stephen King fan. He would read those books all the time. And my mom was like, don't read those, as I'm in like elementary school.
Like, you shouldn't touch those.
But then my brother's like, hey, these kids die in this book. And I'm like, oh, what is this?
Fuck.
That's really interesting. But I think the best thing that this show does, first off, Bill Skarsgård is so fucking good as Pennywise. And I'll talk about the It movies in a second here, because I did rewatch those this week. But if there was, like... For either of those movies, I would love to see that retroactively win the Best Casting Oscar. Because I think both of those movies cast so well, especially Bill Skarsgård. The fact that he can do that shit with his eyes, where he just moves them separate ways, is crazy. His smile, the voice, the demeanor. It's like, he's perfect for this role. And I do like him more than Tim Curry, even though I like grew up with Tim Curry and that was kind of iconic. Bill Skarsgård is fantastic here. But... the show does a good job of building on the lore of Derry, this really weird town where Pennywise the Clown comes out every 27 years. And it builds on the mythology of how this entity came to Earth, and kind of the indigenous tribes that were the first ones to encounter it. And then every 27 years after that, where it's just going through, and you see it in the title sequence, which I think is really good, where it's kind of this postcard type look to it. But you see different eras when this entity was there. And it just is a nice way to kind of do it, because this show takes place in 1962. The movie is in 1989. The first movie is. So you get, grandparents or parents of characters that you see in the 2017 It film. And even though some of it is kind of maybe nostalgia bait, if you want to call it that, or... just remember this. I think it works more for this show because it is such a generational thing through Derry, where you see the parents and how they dealt with this entity in Pennywise and how that passes on to their kids. So I really like it. It does take place in the Cold War too, so there kind of is a military subplot. Sometimes that gets a little goofy. They want to try and capture the entity, want to capture Pennywise.
Yeah.
And at a certain point it's like, okay, that's fine, I guess, but it's like, how are you going to use the thing? Which, people point out in the show. But then at a certain point, James Remar, kind of spoiler alert for the show, but James Remar is one of the main military generals. Then he's like, all right, fuck it, we're just going to let Pennywise out, and we're just going to let him just do his work throughout the United States, and that's going to help things. It's like, what? What do you mean? What? What do you mean by that? How's that going to work? It's a little goofy in the way that they executed that. There's also a few too many rules that they add to restrict Pennywise, where they have the indigenous tribes that were there at the time, buried parts of the asteroid that he came down on as a barrier around Derry. So that's why Pennywise only stays there.
Okay.
Which is fine. I don't mind that idea of why is he only in this town?
Yeah.
But then it's just the way that it's well, if one of them gets taken out, then he's going to escape, but we can solve it by putting it somewhere else that's also conveniently a thing, and there's also a dagger that also has this thing, and it's
too many things.
We're doing too many things. I don't hate all the ideas, and I'm sure a lot of them are in the book, too. But it's really cool, too. There's Giovanna Depo and Taylor Page are two parents to a child in this season, and it kind of deals with, civil rights within the town. So it has its own storylines aside from just horror movie or horror show. it doesn't hold back on any of the violence. There's the first episode just fucking murking kids. I'm like, ooh, that's bold. I like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So I think it mixes a lot of the kind of civil rights stuff, indigenous community, Cold War stuff, mixed with kids riding around on their bikes trying to solve this stuff. You also get Dick Halloran in this show.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because he's a character that pops up in a lot of Stephen King projects. And, he's in The Shining and Dr. Sleep most notably. But it's great to see his kind of powers or abilities that he has and how he uses them against Pennywise here and helps everybody. So kind of a nice little touch just to tie the Stephen King universe together. I like just learning more about the history and seeing... There's things in the movies that you see that are like, oh, that's where that came from here. That was the event that happened. So, overall, very good show. I enjoyed this first season. At the end of it, they do have a Welcome to Derry Chapter 1. So, we're going to get some more seasons of this, it sounds like.
Yeah, I never finished the show. I think I saw the first 2 episodes when those released, and then I just didn't stick up with it just because I suck at watching TV, but... I like the premise of it.
Yeah.
It did already start to feel goofy. Like, anytime there's a military aspect or like, hey, can we harness this? I'm like, why? Why is that the only thing that you guys want to do? Like, can we do something else? Can we just protect the people of Derry? Like, I don't know. But I love the 2017 film so much. I remember I got to see a early release of the sequel to Chapter 2 when I was in college, and I remember seeing it with one of my older brother's friends, because he won tickets off of the radio, and he was like, "You like movies? You'll want to go see this." And I remember just sitting there. My college roommate came with us, and we're just sitting there, and like I looked over, and I was like, "You hate this too, right? Like this movie's not good." And he was like, "No, this sucks." And I was just like, "Oh, okay." Which I warmed to a little bit more on a rewatch, but it's just the first that 2017. It came out when we were in high school, getting to watch that, and that was like, holy shit, they can make good horror movies still. Like, oh, finally.
Yep.
And Pennywise, like Tim Curry Pennywise, we both kind of grew up with. It was the TV movie version. And it was never scary to look at. And I remember when they first showed Skarsgård in like promo images or the first like behind the scenes images of him as Pennywise. I'm like, look at that dumbass's big ass forehead. And then you see him in the movie. I'm like, oh, you're terrifying. Like when they're in that garage and the film projector.
It's a great scene.
And then he's there. Oh my god, it was terrifying. So I love a lot of Stephen King. I really like the 2017 It film. The stuff surrounding it that I have seen, I'm just like, yeah, it's fine. But I think there's nothing that Stephen King, nothing that you can best Stephen King in than in this first It film and following those children and what they're afraid of. And like, he is the reason why we have a Stranger Things. Like you don't have a Stranger Things if it never gets written and never gets put to screen. So I love that original film. Maybe I'll eventually check back in on Welcome to Derry, maybe in preparation for season 2, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think if you do like a October kind of Halloween horror stuff, I think it would be a good thing to watch. But man, yeah, the 2017 It movie is honestly one of my favorite horror movies in recent years. I think it holds up so well. I think that, again, the cast, like I mentioned, all the kids are so good in that movie, and that's a tough thing to get right. But especially like Jack Dylan Grazer's Eddie, he's so fucking funny. Like him and Finn Wolfhard going back and forth. Richie and Eddie is great, just making jokes about each other's moms, just like they're leaving the house. Like, do you want a kiss from me too, Mrs. Kazmarek? And he's just like, shut the fuck up, Eddie. Whatever. Get out of here, Richie. But it's great. There's also so many great scares in that movie that are so subtle. Like when Ben is in the library and the librarian's just like in the background and then just turns and is looking and it doesn't focus on her. It's just really great. And it was just kind of in that era too when like Stranger Things, the first season, had came out a year before this. So it was like the good times of 80s nostalgia where they were getting it right still, and it was like, oh, this is you're doing it really well. It's kind of gotten tired at this point. Yeah. But in Chapter 2, on a rewatch this week, I was just in the mood to rewatch both movies because I hadn't seen them in a while. I still like it. I think the casting is still really good, like Chastain and James McAvoy. Bill Hader's great. But it does get a little hokey, a little messy in the middle where they're just looking for tokens and artifacts, and they bring in the ritual of Chud and, all this stuff where, like, it's in the book, obviously, but that's also the complaint of the book, people have said, where it's like, it gets weird, and there's a turtle, Matarin the turtle, that's strange. They also just have too many references to, like, oh, the ending's never as good, it's not as good as the rest of it, and I'm like, Okay, I know what you're doing.
It always they did that in fucking X-Men Apocalypse, where they're leaving Return of the King, or not Return of the King, Return of the Jedi, and they're like, it's not as good as the second one. It's the third ones in a trilogy are never as good. And I'm like, you guys do realize Apocalypse is the third in this new trilogy? Like,
You're trying to save face and
I'm
say
like,
it.
What's going on right now?
Yeah, but anyways, it was a fun little It week. I didn't plan on rewatching both movies, but it was really nice to check them out, and it was fun just to tie everything together of the history. So, really enjoyed it.
I will say this is perfect cover art for It.
It's amazing.
This is a perfect poster. I love
Yeah.
that. I remember I was so hyped for It Chapter 2, and then I saw it and I was like, oh, damn it. But like I knew that going into it from like the original TV movie where I was like, yeah, the adult stuff is not as good. And then it got to the movie and I was like, it's still not as good.
The last point on It that I'll say is just the theater experiences I had for both movies were great. The first one, I saw it with my mom and my brother. I mentioned that really love Stephen King. We saw it at the Buffalo Theater, but it was after a Friday Night Lights football game. So I just finished up the game, drove straight to the theater, saw It with my brother and mom, and I was like, this is one of the best days I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And then It Chapter 2 I saw with a bunch of college friends. Just another really good memory. So,
What was the last movie you saw at the Buffalo Theater? I feel like I've probably asked you this.
oh man.
Because it probably closed not that long
It
after.
was summer of
it came out.
2018.
Yeah.
So, man, I think The Equalizer 2. I think that was 2018.
Little introduction to Pedro Pascal, and you're like, yep, this
Yeah.
killed the theater.
I didn't know. And then they had the old posters for Mission Impossible Fallout and Crazy Rich Asians there that got sun drenched for months. So, great theater.
Yeah. I didn't watch a whole lot, like I mentioned this week. I did read a lot. I finished Dune Messiah on a reread. I'm really excited for Dune Part 3. I have now since started Children of Dune, and then over this weekend I also read Animal Farm by George Orwell, because I never read that book in high school or middle school when everyone else read it, and that was also a fantastic book. So I'm still reading a lot. I'm hoping to finish Children of Dune. Maybe I'll move into God Emperor of Dune and then take a little break from Dune and just keep reading.
Have you read Children of Dune before?
No, I
Okay.
did get... So I got, I think, maybe 40 pages into it the last time I started to read, and I just kind of fell out of it. So I have now surpassed where I left off last time. So now I'm in all new ground, new material for me. So Children of Dune, so far, it's really interesting. It's a fucking thick book. If a book is over 400 pages, it's going to take a lot to really make me want to read it. Dune Messiah is like 280, and I'm like, perfect, beautiful. Children of Dune's like 480 to 490, and I'm like, fuck, shit. I'm a slow reader, if you can't tell by the everything about me. But moving into the new releases for this week of April 10th, being that this upcoming Friday, we also even have a new release coming out today, which I probably won't really check out, but I know Corey's anticipating this at least a little bit more than I am. But we have Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord, which is releasing tonight. I don't know, you might know, is it releasing in entirety, or is it like a week-to-week
First
release?
couple episodes, and I think either like an episode or two each week leading up to May the 4th.
Okay. And we got Sam Witwer, who is Darth Maul at this point, coming back to voice. And then Wagner Moura is also a part of this cast, so that's kind of cool. This takes place after the Clone Wars. Maul plots to rebuild his criminal syndicate on a planet untouched by the Empire. So I do like the animation of this. And I've liked the posters that they've recently been putting out for this. So I don't know if I'll actually check it out, but it's coming out tonight.
I'm pumped for this. Darth Maul's one of my favorite Star Wars characters. He's so fucking cool. Sam Witwer's great as the voice. Anytime he popped up in Clone Wars or Rebels or even Solo for a second. Hopefully they tie into like the Crimson Dawn stuff a little bit.
Yeah.
Sounds like they want to do multiple seasons, which sure, I'm down for that. So this will definitely be after the Natty Championship game between Michigan and UConn tonight. Watching both of these episodes.
Who did you have? Because you had Michigan as your winner.
Michigan winning it all.
Who were they going to be playing at, or in your bracket? Who did you pick as the opponent to Michigan?
I had Michigan against Duke.
Okay.
So, which I'm happy Duke lost because I fucking hate Duke.
Duke.
But I'm scared. I'm not going to make any predictions because other times I've done that for teams I like. It didn't go well. So I'm just going to be quiet about sports.
Just going to let it happen.
Yeah.
So once you're done with Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord, or before you even watch it, you can watch the national championship game tonight between UConn and Michigan, which I was hoping Arizona would win, and then that was a depressing ass game.
Holy shit!
My god. Anyways, aside from that, theatrically we have Faces of Death coming from director Daniel Goldhaber, who did How to Blow Up a Pipeline. This film stars, is it Dacre? Dacre? I've seen some. Okay, Dacre Montgomery.
Daiquiri.
My name is Daiquiri. Charlie XCX is in this. Barbie Ferreira, a woman employed as a website moderator, comes across a series of violent videos reproducing death scenes from a film. This movie, it's a horror film. It's very small budget. It looks like I'm interested in the most in this film coming out this week, so I might try and check it out. I think my wife is going to check out You, Me, and Tuscany this week. It's coming from director Kat Coro, who did Marry Me. She also did a couple episodes of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, which didn't think we'd really bring that one up before getting to this point in the episode. But this is starring Halle Berry and Regé-Jean Page. What did I say?
Now I get to correct you, you
Haley
fuck.
Bailey. Haley Bailey.
Nope, still not right.
Halle
Just read what's written, you fuck.
Bailey. How else do you... Holly. Haley. Holly.
Halle Bailey, yeah.
Halle.
Yeah. God,
Her eyes are too far
fucking
apart.
idiot.
Starring...
Now we're going to attack a woman's looks on this podcast. Wow.
Okay. If you go back to like the first year of us doing this, the first couple of months of me just leaning in on Nicole Kidman, if you want to say I'm a horrible person, watch that shit because I will prove that point. This movie looks very formulaic. It looks like a rom-com that we don't really get nowadays, usually for good reason. But when a woman crashes at an empty Italian villa, posing as the owner's fiance, she discovers an unexpected romance that may transform her life. I've seen this trailer so many times. I'm so excited for this movie to come out so I can stop seeing this trailer every time I go to see a movie. My wife might go check it out because she loves Regé-Jean Page. Who would have thought I'd get that name right and not Halle Bailey. Anyways, aside from that, we have Newborn, which, interesting enough, I wasn't going to talk about this movie this week, but it's coming from director Nate Parker, who did The Birth of a Nation, which he kind of fell off for reasons. But this film is starring David Oyelowo, who I also love from the film Selma.
Also got that name right.
David Oyelowo is a fucking G. I love David Oyelowo.
He's great.
But this film is about, after serving 7 years in solitary confinement, Chris, played by Oyelowo, seeks to rebuild his life and reconnect with his family, only to find that freedom has become a terrifying psychological battleground. Oh no, I know nothing about that aside from that this film stars David Oyelowo and it's coming from Nate Parker, so I'm like, that's kind of cool. Don't know if I'll see it. And then Beast, directed by Tyler Atkins, which is starring Russell Crowe, an MMA legend, Patton James, now a commercial fisherman, is pulled back into the cage when his brother is in danger. Reuniting with his old coach, Sammy, he commits to one final fight and one championship against its brutal champion, Xavier Grau. Cool.
Strong.
I don't know. Like, Luke Hemsworth is in this. Everyone's favorite Hemsworth is in this film, but I've only seen like snippets of like promo photos of just Russell Crowe being in this. I'm like, okay, cool. But I can't say I'm gonna be really rushing out to a lot of these except for Faces of Death. I'm somewhat interested in.
Yeah, I think the only new thing this week will be Mall Shadowlord for me. That'll be kind of as far as not even movies really, but speaking of reading, I am going to try and read a book before next week,
Is it the one over here?
And then watch a movie. Yeah, I won't say what it is to leave you in suspense, but it's
you've seen that movie though, right?
Oh yeah, okay.
I've
seen the movie. It's a 30-year anniversary of the book. I'll just say that, and I was talking with a coworker about it, and they loaned me a book, so and I loaned them the movie, so we did a little flip flop. And I'm excited to read the book because I've heard it's really good, and so I'll talk about that next week.
That's cool. I saw that when I came in. I was like, is he redecorating? What the fuck is this?
Yeah, I'm excited.
I've heard nothing but great things about the book, and I love the movie.
I haven't read a book in years, so
it's nice to just kind of break that seal. And
I don't think I remember how, but we'll figure it out.
It's fine. Throw an audiobook in and just read along with it.
Maybe, yeah.
Just do that. In terms of what we purchased lately, I feel like every week I mention that I'm going to stop buying movies for a little bit, and then I buy more movies. So this week I bought The Creator on 4K and Blu-ray, a sci-fi movie that I really enjoyed, you love, and I bought you a steelbook for, and I'm really jealous that I only bought it for you because it's impossible to find now, so I wish I would have gotten 2 of them for both of us. In keeping with sci-fi, I also ordered Ad Astra, the 4K Blu-ray of that. Project Hail Mary, and like reading that book, experiencing that movie has got me on a space kick, so I want to watch a lot of those. I also ordered The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which is an underrated Guy Ritchie film. I got the Arrow Special Edition Blu-ray of that. And then, keeping with Ryan Gosling from Project Hail Mary, movies coming out really do a horrible thing to my bank account, where it's like, oh, this actor's in other stuff I really like, so I'll buy that. Oh, it's about space, I'll buy space movies, but I did also buy The Fall Guy on 4K and Blu-ray, which is a fun little summer movie that didn't get, I feel like, as much appreciation as it deserved.
For sure. The thing that I bought this week, which we talked about it coming out, was Marty Supreme. It's got a nice little shiny cover on the Marty Supreme letters here. An interesting thing about it's an A24 release, but it has both the 4K and Blu-ray in there. A lot of the A24 ones either just have a 4K or a Blu-ray, so this is one of the rare times, and I'm very happy that it did, because it's still my favorite movie from last year. and I'm happy to own that. It's got the cool art cards in there too. It's got great disc art of ping pong balls. It's fucking perfect. I love that. Marty Supreme Ball from Marty Supreme Guy. Love that shit. Speaking of things coming out this week, you talked about Mercy. That's coming out on Blu-ray and 4K this week. We also have The Deer Hunter and Carlito's Way coming out on 4K. And then a series I know you really like, Over the Garden Wall, is coming out on Blu-ray. The whole series together. I don't know if it had come out before, but...
only on DVD.
Only on DVD, okay.
So this is kind of cool. I don't know. I have it on Amazon. Like, I bought the digital copy just because I was like, I want to have this so I can watch it every Halloween, but I might buy the Blu-ray because I love this.
Yeah.
It's like a little 100-minute movie, basically. It's a great animation.
You and Allie dressed up for Halloween a few years back as some people from this. So.
The main characters,
Nice. There you go. As far as movie news, not a lot of stuff this week. Kind of the big thing was the trailers, which we got another trailer for Supergirl, which was kind of just more Jason Momoa as Lobo. And
more Crypto. Everyone's favorite DC head of universe. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
You get more the dog, you get more action, you get more things.
Who would have thought Crypto would be the Iron Man of the DC universe? It's kind of pissing me off. The trailer's fine, but like, can we fucking lean off the dog for a second?
I've been saying this for a while, even about Superman.
I was fine with Superman. Now I'm mad.
We do see Superman, speaking of him, see David Cornsweet at the beginning of the trailer.
Hey, sad cousin, come to Earth.
Yeah, it's like, I love Millie Alcock. I'm still like excited enough for it, but whatever. Sort of same with Masters of the Universe. We got another full trailer for it. We kind of more of what we saw, more Skeletor. Not too much to talk about there. The one that we were both really excited about is Backrooms. We got a little teaser before of just like dropping through the rooms, which I thought was a great teaser, and would love if that was the only thing that we ever saw. But this is a movie I'm so excited for. I am really pumped to watch through the short films that the director has done before, and check those out. There's like I think a playlist on YouTube that has all of them. I'm like, perfect. I'm gonna watch through those the week of and really get into the Backrooms, because I didn't know about this before. Like, people at work were telling me, they're like, oh yeah, it was a 4chan thing, and then it's video games they've made, and just like all this stuff. So I'm pumped to see this movie.
I only know about Backrooms because the Corridor Crew guys talked about it on one of their episodes of like VFX Artists React, but it was mostly just like, look at what this guy did, what Kane Parsons or whatever the director of this is. So the fact that he's also like 20 years old putting out a feature with A24, and the trailers are actually scary. Like, I can't fucking wait. This Backrooms trailer was the best thing I watched all week. I've watched it several times this week. I think, one, it has an awesome cast, but also it's so eerie. And, like, I can't explain why it's so scary to me. Like, the liminal spaces, just...
The music's
hallways
great.
Going on, just the posters that they put out, too, of Renee Rensev just up against the wall and, like, Chiwetel Ejiofor just staring up at the sky. I'm like, oh my... This trailer and this poster, their entire marketing campaign is awesome. I can't fucking wait. It wasn't on my top 10 most anticipated, and we always mention when we do those videos of like, oh, there's probably more movies that are coming out that we're really excited for that we don't know about because this is the bigger releases. This would be on my top 10 most anticipated if we redid that list. I can't fucking wait for this movie.
Pumped for that one. You excited for Scream 8?
No.
You excited for that? Well, that got announced this week. Doesn't sound like Kevin Williamson's coming back, at least to write.
Wonder why.
The Zuckerman sisters, Leela and Zora, they're going to be writing Scream 8 after the big financial success of Scream 7, which is good for theaters.
Yeah.
For this specific movie, They were showrunners on Poker Face, which I've heard really good things about. I actually really want to watch that. I know Ryan Johnson was kind of the show, or was involved with that. They also worked on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Suits, Fringe, Prodigal Son, and lots of TV stuff. We're both done with Scream. If Scream 7 would have been good, I would have had we don't need it, but maybe they can find another way.
Yeah.
After Scream 7, I think we're both like, no.
Just kill it. Like, you haven't had a good killer reveal in a couple of movies. We've left Woodsboro to come back to Woodsboro to be like, we're back home, Sydney. Like, I saw it in Scream 4. Now I'm doing it again in Scream 7. I had a new cast of characters I liked, and now they're not in these films. It's just. You did it.
We can be done. Yeah, that's all right. Another horror movie that's going to be coming out, and a lot of people had speculated it was going to come out, but it's a prequel to Weapons. I don't know if it's officially called Gladys, but it's about Aunt Gladys. And Zach Kreger and Zach Shields, who has been a writer on Krampus, really good horror movie. And then he's been involved with the MonsterVerse stuff, Godzilla King of the Monsters and Godzilla vs. Kong. He was a writer and did some story stuff on there. After Amy Madigan just won an Oscar for playing Aunt Gladys, I'm happy to get more of that character. because there's no real future for that character, so we need to go backwards a little bit and see what she was doing before, which I think there's a lot of things that you could do that are really interesting there. So this doesn't feel like just playing into the like hype of and the Oscar when it's like seems like there's something there.
I think that there is so much comedy that they could have with this, which like I know like it doesn't always work for me in Weapons, and I know it doesn't. The ending at least doesn't really work for you, but I'm like, how did she figure out this mixture of things of like cracking a stick with someone's hair into a bucket of water and blood? Like, I want to see trial and error of like, fuck, it didn't work, and they're just walking away from me, right? Like, I want to see like. I didn't need this movie, but I like that we're going to see Amy Madigan as Gladys again.
Yeah.
In the only way we can. So, I support this.
Last couple things. We got an official release date for Spaceballs 2 coming from Mel Brooks. It's going to be April 23rd, 2027. And then we got an announcement that Michael Shanks, the director of Together, which I really like from last year, he's teaming up with Adam McKay for a mystery sci-fi comedy. Don't know much beyond that, but two creatives that I really like, and I'm looking forward to whatever that project is.
Yes, when Spaceballs 2 hits theaters, Mel Brooks will be 100 years old. That's insane.
Yeah.
So one thing I didn't talk about that I didn't watch all of it, but my brother-in-law is the fucking best, and it was Saturday before Easter, he threw on Blazing Saddles randomly.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a movie of Mel Brooks's like comedies. It's not one of my favorites, but I do really like it. And holy shit, is that movie still so funny? And I'm like, it's so crazy that we're now getting Spaceballs 2. I hope that they tack on the subtitle, if it's not official, of like The Search for More Money or whatever the fuck they wanted to call it. Like, I can't wait for that. And Michael Shanks, like, you like Together a little bit more than I did, but that movie is so ballsy and it just takes massive swings and it's so weird and out there. Him and Adam McKay never could have guessed that pairing.
Yeah.
Doesn't really make sense, but sold. Can't wait. So anything to get him working on film again and just putting like films like Vice. That's such an underrated movie. I love that movie. Anyways, it was a longer episode today. I always think it's going to be short, and then it's not. Even when we record a late episode on a Monday. But that will do it for today's episode. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast. In film, it's not just about what's on screen. It's also about who's next to you in the theater.
For Mason and I at Slate Night, that's a wrap.